All right, coming to us live now from Carolina after a tough week one loss. Almost had a big win against his former team. Quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, Baker Mayfield. Baker, thanks for joining us, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, man. As we put a bow on this past weekend, I'm sure it was a lot to digest, but at the same time, you've got 4 years of great memories in Cleveland. Is there anything as a farewell as you move on to the next week to the Cleveland fans, to the people in that organization that you just want to kind of leave as a lasting note?
I think the people within that building that really know who I am and know the ins and outs of everything that really happened throughout the 4 years while I was there. Those people know where I stand with them, and I still will have a relationship for a lifetime. There's great people, as you know, Drew, in that building, and those are relationships that I'm counting on that I did count on and that I'll still have for a long time coming. So when it comes to just the city of Cleveland, I truly did enjoy living there. That was Emily and I's first home. It's been hard to transition because we built friendships with not just people within the building, but outside the building as well. I mean, it's a sports town, but we had relationships with people that influenced us in other ways outside the building. And it was a good place to live. It was a good home, good first home for us, and we'll forever be grateful. But we're happier now where we're at football wise, but that's the way it works. Everything happens for a reason. So we're moving on, but the friendships, those don't go away.
Yeah, and moving on, right? How do you move on your personal process of what you go through as a quarterback of digesting the film? You've got a chance to see that now. You got a chance to learn from that. Personally, how do you move past this as quickly as possible and dive into your next opponent?
Yeah, looking at the film, just from a critical standpoint, obviously you always try and be your harshest critic. But there was a lot of unforced errors, a lot of self-inflicted wounds that we did to hurt ourselves. I mean, we had I think there was 3 third and short to third and mediums in the first half. And the first 22 plays of the game were awful. There was a missed assignment or a mental error by somebody on the offense throughout that first half, and it hurt us. It hurt us. And so when you give a team that has a rushing attack like Cleveland does, it allows them to just sit back on that and just pound our defense. And it's unfortunate because I lived it from that standpoint on the other side, but then being on the opposition of Nick Chubb and those O-linemen running, it's tough to defend. So, looking back, it's don't beat ourselves. I mean, that's the most cliche thing to say, but that's the week one stuff. The teams that make the most errors are normally the ones that lose. So, and it was hard to overcome at that point, but we were still in it in the end. And that's the potential that we tried to show, and that we're going to look at the film and take away from us. Okay, fix our own errors, but then in the second half, when we play our game, we can be a good team. And so, just that was kind of the message. Just flush it, move on, learn from it. But there's a lot more ball left.
Sometimes there's a difference between the message and kind of what actually the coaches do moving forward in terms of action, right? So how are you, because I know whenever you lose the first week of the season, there tends to be a mode of panic, right? There tends to be coaches, assholes tightening up a little bit. There's going to be a little added emphasis in practice. So you as the leader, the franchise quarterback, right? Like, are you going to do anything different in practice this week to try and just be a second voice to the guys of like, hey, listen, like it was one game. Let's just focus on what we need to do and move forward. And how are you going to kind of approach this week?
Yeah, I think that's something that obviously dealing with a lot of ups and downs the last 4 years. I think the biggest mistake any team can make is try and reinvent the wheel when it's just a loss. That if you look at it from a very simplistic mindset, it's like, hey, what did we actually do wrong in the game compared to what we trained to do? Look back at what we did in practice the last week, and the message throughout the building was we prepared extremely well. We were ready for that game. We just didn't go out and execute. And that's just, sometimes that happens, but that's also an early in the season thing that, okay, we got it under our belt. Let's move forward. Let's be the aggressor next time on offense. Let's be the ones attacking. Let's not wait to get down before we start pushing the tempo, before we start making our own plays and having kind of edge on offense. So just for me, it would be just to reinforce that we don't have to do anything special besides just do our job. And it comes down to it. Just take what we're doing in practice out on the game field. It's no different.
Yeah. So speaking of that, right, you get to play against the team that was the aggressor. The New York Giants went out and they found a way to win a football game. Daniel Jones has had a lot of turnover there. He's had a lot of different people in his ear. You know exactly what that's like, right? You do. I mean, from experience, how hard is that to try and find consistency, to keep your confidence high, to be able to go out there and do that? And I mean, quite honestly, there's a huge difference between being 0-2 and 1-1 and being able to survive that.
Yeah, there's a huge difference in that, just mentality wise, where the whole locker room is of, and that's infectious. But for him going through that, it's the number one thing is, and I took this away from you, Drew, when you know, and which I think I always tried to do it, but when you spelled it out for me, just try and be the same person every single day, no matter what's going on. If you can be that consistent leader at the top when everybody is kind of losing their heads, and this is a little Freddyism, everybody else is losing their heads around you, so you can keep a level head. But that's
his favorite
in the most corny way. It's the truth though. When everybody like you mentioned, AQ, is when coaches might say, "Oh, when shit hits the fan, let's reinvent the wheel." Like, no, like what actually went wrong? Let's be the same person. Let's attack the mistakes and just get it corrected. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. And that's the thing about the NFL. It's, as you guys know, it's the teams that beat themselves are the ones that they can't figure it out. So it's just for him being the same guy, realizing what he has around him, and is utilizing all those resources and his playmakers too. Because I think just obviously the coaching staff, new coaching staff, new management, ownership, or not ownership, but just management all around, they're going to give him all the weapons. I mean, those guys they've been in Buffalo. I think we're seeing what they've done in Buffalo now, what they've been building. So I think he just needs to stay the course and not try and do too much right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I trust me, when I was a player and then the 1 year coaching, I used to sit there. The 8 months of coaching, it used to drive me crazy whenever like you do something and just, I mean, whatever. Like sometimes you just don't play well, right? Like it's not like we weren't the most physical team. Like maybe we weren't that day, but it had nothing to do with the physicality of it, right? So sometimes you're right, just keeping it simple, but just trying to keep it light and kind of veer off football a little bit. You guys have a motto and a mantra, I guess, per se, of keep pounding down there. Yeah. First of all, what does that mean to you? And second of all, like, have you embraced that being there and like since you've moved there? And then also, how does that really apply to your team this week? I mean, I think it's a pretty good motto moving forward to just like, hey, listen, like just put your fucking head down, keep pounding and go there.
Yeah, so I didn't know what it meant until training camp. We're down at Wofford, and our long snapper, JJ Jansen, who's just a great person, he's been and will be he's got 12 more games now this season to be the all-time franchise record holder for most games played. So he's been around the franchise for a while, but he was here when Sam Mills was coaching after his playing days. So Sam just got inducted in the Hall of Fame, was an undersized linebacker here for the Panthers. But Sam got diagnosed with cancer while he was coaching, didn't tell anybody, just kept going. And that was kind of his message, is no matter what, keep pounding. You keep pushing, ups and downs. You just keep pushing. And so he gave a speech to the team, and JJ got up in front of everybody at training camp this year and told not told the same speech, but just basically just paraphrased it and told us what it meant, what the phrase meant, because all of us, we really didn't know. We just knew that it was the chant throughout the stadium. We thought it was something that everybody said, but it has such a meaning behind it, that somebody that was going through so much behind the scenes, that put everybody else in the building first, that really cared about everybody doing well and really meant it. And you can't go through cancer treatment while still coaching and coming in every day and working and doing all that and putting everybody first without truly meaning it. And so that's something that once you learn the story and once you're in the building and once you realize that, the important people behind the scenes that have done those things to impact this franchise, it's a pretty significant statement that I'll hold near to my heart now.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I mean, unless you're in Carolina, you probably haven't heard it or understood the backbone of it. So that's pretty neat for Sam Mills to be able to do that and then also go out and live it. So fill in the blank for us. The Carolina Panthers will beat the New York Jets if
Giants.
Sorry. Edit that. Hold on, go back. All right. Fill in the blank for okay, here we go. Go back and fill in the blank for us. The Carolina Panthers beat the New York Giants
if we just be who we are. That's to me, it's pretty simple. It's the coaching phrase, just be yourself, but just don't try and do too much. I think do the simple things, the little things right, and we'll be just fine. We're going in there. It's obviously a team that's got some renewed energy, new schemes, but we just can't beat ourselves. Fortunately, I'm familiar with their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, a little bit. So going to look back at how he schemed me up the last 4 years and go from there. But we just can't beat ourselves. Got to learn from last week's lessons and go from there.
Perfect, man. Well, we really appreciate you joining us. Just take a breath, be the leader you are, get back to work with the boys this week, and good luck against the Giants, brother.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, and that's it. We're wrapping it up with another episode of the Bobbled Exchange. We had great Week 1 recaps. We hit on reactions and overreactions. We had a great interview with Baker Mayfield, and we're looking forward to seeing what Week 2 leads us into the NFL season. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Thank you to the Mission for having us out.